Be blessed by the divine. Childhood days. Little can I recollect of the events of my infancy. The few things I mention here are from the reminiscence of my mother and my eldest sister. Guduvancheri in Chengalpattu district of Tamil Nadu in South India is my native town. Chinnammal was the name of my mother. Varadappa Mudaliyar, highly esteemed by me, was my father. We were Chenkundars, that is weavers by tradition. My father followed that profession. Of their children, the first 6 were girls. 3 of them are alive today, Karpagam, Chinnammal and Nagammal. The 7th was a boy, and he passed away when he was 7. I was the 8th. I have an younger brother, Devasigamani. He is living in Saidapet, a suburb of Madras. These facts I once put into verse of sorts. My mother did pray for a male child all day, with fervor at temple and shrine for continuance of family line. Chinnammal was her name. My father bore the fury of starved penury. Varadappan was his name. In the year of the Lord 1911, on Monday the 14th of Augustan month, 45 minutes almost from the rising of the sun, was I born in Guduvancheri town. The moon was in fishes, in line was Mercury, right in my own life sign. At the sign of the crab, the sun stayed fine. But in Virgo, Venus was weak. In Ram were Saturn, Rahu and Mars, Jupiter and Ketu in scales. The constellation being Uttarattadi. The years left over were little more than 3 out of Saturn's period of birth. 7 were the babies who preceded me. The last of them was a boy. At the age of 7, he did cease to be. So too did my sisters too. Eaten up with care, deprived of joy, were my parents forlorn, yet deemed it such rare good fortune when I was born. To feed young mouths, mother did stint herself. Father he toiled and moiled. He could not perform the feat of making both ends meet, nor could he think of leaving the time-honored trade of weaving. I leave the feeling of the parents who have a succession of 6 children, all girls, and then the 7th turns out to be a boy, and this boy dies at the age of 7 to be imagined. My mother carried out whatever penance, whatever vow others prescribed for expiation of sin and to secure a male progeny. One was to eat of the floor, directly taking the food into the mouth, stooping low without the intervention of hands. Another was a test of their limitless piety. Celebrating a wedding between a sacred fig tree and a margosa tree was declared to be infallible in producing the desired result. There was no such dais in those days at Guduvancheri, where the 2 trees jointly flourished. Father went to no end of trouble to secure the seedlings, to plant them on the western bank of the village tank, and to care for them, to fence them, to water them, and to foster their growth with unremitting watchfulness. All this he had to do while working whole time merely for a pittance. Father explained to me one day all the trials he had to put up with while rearing the pair of trees. Tears came gushing hot from my eyes as I listened. The trees took root, they flourished. Now they look tall and grand. When I look at them today, they seem to wish to speak to me, to have a message for me to be imprinted in my heart. People know how keen I am myself on reforms. I am for doing without all accretions and superfluities in temple worship and religious ceremonies. I am in favor of clarity and simplicity in everything we do in life. All the same, addressing me, the two trees seem to say, "Your parents have united you with us. Our lives are inseparable, you see, from your birth." That was the way my parents felt about me. When the so eagerly desired and prayed for male child came at last, with Leo too as birth sign, father could not contain himself for joy. He distributed sweets to the whole village to demonstrate his delight. People say I looked quite handsome as a child. My parents could hardly bring themselves to let me tread on the ground. There is no analogy or comparison I could think of to describe their unbounded affection and solicitude. Mother has told me that when I was 3, she lay on her back one day and dozed off, with me stretched on her abdomen. It seems I squirmed and moved forward and hit her in the mouth so hard with my head that one of her teeth was knocked off. She didn't seem to mind the blood that spouted out, but wailed and wept, keeping her mouth closed as best she could, at the thought of the pain the impact should have caused to her poor child. She had put me to sleep on her own belly only out of the fear that I might be bitten by ants if laid on the floor. What is there on earth to parallel a mother's love? What service or sacrifice is there to compare with what a mother does for her child? I have a dim recollection only of such incidents that took place from my 4th year onwards. The Story of My Life by Sri Vethathiri Maharishi will continue in the next video. Visit simplifiedkundaliniyoga.com. Be blessed by the Divine.